You can hear him. Do you hear that? Wait.
There's no time to waste, B.
Shh. Shh. Ooh. That looks good. The smacking.
B?
Okay, okay. I'm trying to have fun here,
Sorry,
and you're just in the way.
Don't have any time to lose, so...
B, wait. I need you.
Okay.
Yorinobu Arasaka must answer for this crime of patricide.
Looking for justice. In Night City.
I seek revenge. Much more feasible here. I have
That looks so... That was pretty cool.
I saw that.
That was pretty cool.
I saw Yaya.
Yeah.
I saw Yaya.
You want to show Yaya?
It's blast off.
Okay. I don't think Yaya's here, but you can pretend. All right. Do a blast off for us. One more, okay?
Yeah, what's it?
Yaya, watch this. All right.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and blast off.
Now what?
Really, literally what he does all day.
Right?
Let's see. He destroyed Jesus' bed. Hey, Kay. Clumsy says, how is Jesus going to respawn in 3 days?
At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi.
That might be the funniest thing that she's ever said.
Oh, that is.
That is perfect. One right across from us first, you think?
Yes.
So that way we're not going down any more than... Oh, Lord! The heck? Whew. All right, I mean, that was pretty cool, though. So if I did... Oh, okay. Okay, you're right. Okay. I thought it, like, deleted the layer underneath it, but it doesn't. That's excellent. I think she's home, because I hear the dog going crazy. What are y'all up to today? What you got going on the rest of this beautiful Saturday that's 103 degrees here in Texas? I think I gotta go get some oil changed in our car. You can throw this through. Ready? Missed. And a missed. And a missed. And a missed. And a missed. Not that. Give me that. Keep it up. You're doing great. And I missed. Oh, come on. Get in the hole. Come on. You're so close. Keep going, champ. You got this. There we go. Nailed it. First try. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. It's camera day. Hello. Congratulations, Lars. You are the Phantom Menace. Please excuse the bad hair day. I don't know what's going on up here. I guess it's time for a haircut. It's just all over the place. Lately, you know, after you hit about 35, all days are bad hair days. What you gonna do about it? Gonna whine about it? Or are you just gonna get a bunch of muscle instead? That's my goal. Congratulations, though. Yeah, you got very fortunate. Oh gosh, sexy man on screen. Where? Is he here again? Is he in the room with me right now? I'm terrified. There's just like a shirtless guy standing behind me. That'd be pretty funny. Good morning, Darth Torlin. How you doing? I was just admiring your creation in the Lego channel. What a great idea to add the Star Tours to the Death Star trench run. That's a great idea. I love it. Wonderful idea. I meant to like go groom myself this morning. I gotta trim up the beard, you know, maybe fix the hair, and then I just kind of like ran out of time, and then I was like, you know what? This is just me. This is just me. I don't need to impress anybody, right? You're all here for the Lego. This is why you're really here. There we go. Happy Saturday. How was your week? Anything interesting happen? How did you celebrate the May the 4th and Revenge of the 5th? And also, what is your thoughts on people saying Revenge of the 6th versus Revenge of the 5th? Which one is proper? I'll be right back in a bit, just getting something for lunch. That's fine. Thank you for being here either way. Let me get my instructions up over here. So you just stream on the 4th and on the 5th. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let me get myself situated here. Oh, we still have a lot left. I'm on... So once we finish this one and the next one, we'll be officially 2/3 of the way there. So we're over halfway. So there's something. On the 4th, you streamed for 6 hours. Man, I'm sorry I couldn't get it. I have a on the 4th, I did manage to get off, but that was mostly for my wife's birthday. So I didn't have a lot of extra time to jump in. Otherwise, I totally would have. Because surely you would have been able to catch me at a time I was available had I been sitting at my desk all day. But how did it go? It sounds like that was a pretty successful stream, huh? Seven. I'll spread these out a little bit. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Built the trench run and did a few giveaways. Ooh, nice. What did you have to give away? Giveaways are always fun. Just keep hitting my mic. I apologize. So what is it though? Is it Revenge of the 5th or Revenge of the 6th? Which one is like the more commonly accepted? I also saw a new one the other day too. I'll tell you about in a minute. This one has a lot of variation in it. So maybe switching colors quite a bit. Whoa. How did I miss that? Yikes. I fold origami X-Wings. Most of my Twitch friends here know I love origami as well. I did see you do some origami not too long ago. I popped my head in for a minute. So I folded 4 origami X-Wings, and that was the giveaway. Because that's a pretty unique item, pretty unique skill. Very cool. 4 winners, nice. No doubles. Very cool. Do you like sign it too? Come with a certificate of authenticity? That way when you get super famous, when you blow up. You do? Okay, good. Good. You should. You really should. When you blow up, people can be like, I had an original. I was one of the OG, you know? That's pretty cool. One of 4 and signed. Ooh, nice. The cool thing about origami, correct me if I'm wrong, but while I'm sure you have a system down to do them as easily as possible, they're all kind of unique, right? Like, yeah, they'll look like an X-Wing, but each one is going to be, since it's like one of 4, should be nice and unique. What a cool thing to do as a giveaway. I like that. Are you gonna continue to do stuff like that in the future? I like that. I like it. I don't have anything like that I do, because I am not talented like that. I thought about if ever this thing gets really big, I thought about doing some giveaways of like sets that I get to review. So if I get a set to build and review on the channel, and then it's not one that I like really want to keep, very, very possible that I could package that thing up back in its original box and maybe do what you did, but put like a business card in it, like a seal of authenticity. I think this camera needs to be this way just a little bit more. Maybe more to sell on Ko-Fi. That's a great way to point people to that, because you got to give them something a little extra for doing something a little extra, you know? Yeah, put like a card in it that has, this was built on the Twitch channel on such and such date. I don't know if anybody would want my signature, but, and I'm not sure how I would sign it either. Do I put my real name? Do I just put Nonder? Anyway, you get like a card or something with it too, and that could be pretty cool. So you could potentially watch me build something on stream and then also win that in a giveaway. Especially if I got it for free and it was something that I wasn't wanting to keep anyway. Neuter? That's not that kind of site. I don't think I'd get anything for that, would I? Nah. No. Nobody would pay for that. Right? Nah. Okay. That's the OnlyFans branch right there. I know you meant Nonder, but it's still funny. There's a guy at work who's also a really big Star Wars fan, and he's not. I hate to say it this way. He's not the type of person you would expect to be a huge Star Wars fan. I'm not saying there's a type of person. Star Wars is for everyone, but it is definitely not the first thing I would have thought about this guy. But then he turns his camera on in meetings, and he's just got like these really nice shelves behind him with Stormtrooper helmets, and actually I think it's an X-Wing helmet too. Just really, really small details of Star Wars. So we've definitely bonded. And then on Friday, he asked me like, "How did you celebrate Star Wars Day?" And I was like, "Well, it's not that I don't. It's just that I make my wife's birthday I make that the priority of the day, you know." But she likes Star Wars stuff too, so it works out. Very fortunate. I need a light kit for the throne room. Ooh, a light kit for the throne room would be dope. Be sick. Okay, I'm gonna have to start putting my mouse here because I'm forgetting where I am now. There we are. I want Luke's and Vader's lightsabers to glow. Yeah. Hey, so I noticed something. Do you remember back in the day? I don't even remember like which sets it came with, but they started experimenting with light up lightsabers. Hang on, this is actually something I might look up because they started doing that. I don't remember when, and then they quickly stopped. It was just a very short experiment. It looks like a cool build, by the way. The throne room. It looks very cool. Oops. The dioramas are definitely something I'm gonna attempt to get as soon as I can. But I don't know when that's gonna be yet. As I'm sure you know, it's an expensive hobby. Okay, hang on real quick. Light up Lego lightsabers. Am I imagining? No, everybody does lightsaber kits. Didn't get food, but it did the long overdue dishes. Well, you know, you got to start somewhere. Here we go. Light up lightsaber from Brick Set. Anakin Skywalker, trans light blue, light up lightsaber. Yeah, it appeared in one set, the Anakin one did. Okay. There we go. It appeared in Ultimate Lightsaber Duel? Really? Oh yeah, 2005. Okay. Sorry, I haven't shown you what I'm looking at here. It's all gonna be. Oh, good. It actually worked. Here. This is what I'm looking at. So yeah, it was probably Revenge of the Sith era. There was an Anakin, Obi-Wan, Darth Vader had one. Was it in this? Wait, why was it in this TIE fighter? That can't be. Oh, did they re-release the TIE fighter again? I have this original blue TIE fighter. Good Lord, ads. How many? You guys don't see it, but under my camera here is another ad. How many ads do you need on a page? Good Lord. It's like more ads than my Twitch stream. But I guess they re-released this? Because I had the original, yeah, 2005. I had the original blue TIE fighter. Still have it too. Actually put it together like a year or two ago. But yeah, that is when they started experimenting with light up lightsabers. I never had any of them, so I'm not entirely sure how it worked. What about this Mace Windu one? Ah, the clone turbo tank. Yeah, again, 2005, 2006, somewhere around there. Interesting. Now, can I put that back to how I had it? I can. Excellent. Excellent. So, yeah, apparently that was a thing for a while. And as quickly, excuse me, as quickly as it started, it ended. We don't have them anymore. I bet they're pretty rare at this point, too. I gotta have some more coffee here, I think. Oof. That seems a little loud, doesn't it? There you go. Exposing Alex 42. Hello. How are you? Welcome. All right. Good thing my name's not Alex. I don't want to be exposed. I do that enough already. Anyway. How much do I have? I better speed this one up. If my goal is to get through one every 30 minutes, then I need to hit the ground running a little bit more. Lars, what is on the menu for lunch, though? So I know you just did dishes, but what are we doing for lunch today? I wonder if it'd be better if I just kept these open. I keep on grabbing one and opening them, but I wonder if I could keep them open. At least the ones that I really need. 4, I could keep that one open. I definitely am gonna need 2. And for sure 1. Honestly, I want to use up some instant noodles I have, but beyond that, no real idea. So like cup of noodle kind of thing. Not great. In a lot of pain, but I'm off to the doctor soon, so hopefully they'll do something. Oh, that's not great, man. What's going on? But yeah, I mean, you're doing the right thing by going off to the doctor soon. That is my first advice. Probably my first and only advice would be go see a doctor. Maybe stir fry. Ooh, I love a good stir fry. I'm gonna ask for stir fry this week. That's how I get my meal ideas for the week. I'm gonna go out there to Mrs. Nonder and be like, you know what sounds really good? Just for some reason, stir fry. Stir fry sounds like really good right now. I don't know why. I keep on chopping off the top of my head for some reason. That's better. Another one. 2 wax and a blue. That don't look too bad. I could line up some more here when I get to them too. Okay. I haven't had a good cheeseburger in a long time. Ooh. So I might go to lunch at Wendy's or Five Guys. Can I make a vote? Now here's what I'll say. Wendy's actually, I think, has pretty good burgers. Their meat's pretty good. Five Guys, if you're gonna go out and eat it fresh, then go Five Guys. If you're gonna do like fast food and like take it home, then I'd probably do Wendy's. Five Guys is amazing if you eat it right away. It does not travel well, in my experience. And by the time you get it, like the bag is so like hot and sweaty. And while the fries are amazing and they give you plenty of them, they tend to get a little soggy. And same with the buns on Five Guys. Five Guys is so greasy, which is what you want out of a good burger. But by the time you get it home, the bun's just so soggy, it kind of starts falling apart. It's best fresh, I think. But the fries make Five Guys, so it's like, it depends. If you're going to go out, although, okay, so here's my problem too. Outside of like getting it delivered through an app, getting fast food like McDonald's, Wendy's, we haven't had great experiences with that. But if you're going to go and eat there, it will taste the best. However, I hate eating at Five Guys. I don't enjoy eating something like that in public. It's just it's so sloppy, and it's usually like the kind of meal where I'm like, this is a little out of my macros. This is a little bingey. And occasionally it's probably fine to do that, honestly. Occasionally it's not a big deal. But it's like usually when I'm doing that, I'm not feeling my best. I'm not at my tip-top game. I don't want to do that in public. So that leaves me to just not really getting Five Guys that often. You know, because it's got to be just the right circumstances for me. And then, but when it is, when it is the right circumstances, it just hits really well. Okay. And there we go. I've got fibromyalgia and it's flaring up really bad. Ooh. I had to get my son's school to come pick him up yesterday because I couldn't walk him around there. That's gotta be horrible. I'm so sorry. Ooh. That is hopefully saying disease is the correct word to use, but I hope that's you would think that would be a far more treatable disease, because I've been hearing about that for probably most of my life. I'd hear commercials about fibromyalgia. You would hope that we had come up with a better way to treat that by now. But good luck to you. Hopefully they can find out something for you. I'm sure it's probably one of those things where you just have to learn how to cope with it, right? And you'll have some days that are bad and some days that are better. That's unfortunate. I feel, yeah. Whoa. Oops. I feel for you. Not getting Uber Eats, okay. I don't trust Uber Eats drivers since YouTubers. Oh no. Have there been YouTuber pranks for Uber Eats? Because of course there have. Right? Yeah, it is kind of wild that, like, you know, I don't know. I wanted to say that just anybody could drive for Uber Eats or DoorDash or something, but if you did something to it and people found out about it, it'd be really easy to track back to you. Because, like, your name's all over everything. So, I don't know. I'm sure somebody would try to pull a prank or something, but... Another 2. And then a 3. I doubt they were pranks. People can spit in the food and rub their privates in the food. True, they could. They could. A lot of the places that do it now have like little seals on the food, like on the bag, and if that seal is broken, you're not supposed to eat it. I guess that's not 100% foolproof though, right? Just kind of wonder what would cause somebody to do something that vile, you know? Clout is a dangerous drug. I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't know. Excuse me. But people, especially younger people, will seem to do just about anything for just 15 minutes of fame, you know? Nowadays, it's even sometimes less than 15 minutes. Well, you know what? I'm going to challenge that idea a little bit because something's occurring to me right now. You know how we used to have that expression like, oh, you get your 15 minutes of fame and then you fade into obscurity. I think the problem now is that you'll get your 15 seconds of fame through, like, let's say you had a TikTok video go viral where you were messing with somebody's food for some reason. If you didn't get yourself thrown in prison for something like that or hit with hefty fines, the going viral portion of that is actually probably pretty beneficial for you, because even if people hate you, it's still engagement, right? And I think the problem is today is that engagement is so monetizable. Even it doesn't really matter why they're engaged with you. It's just if they are, then you can monetize it somehow. Somebody is going to pay you for those eyeballs. So the problem is now, before you'd say, oh, you get your 15 minutes of fame and you'd fade away. But now you actually can make some good money from that. I mean, I'm convinced that there's some people out there that don't truly believe the things that they believe. That they say things that they know are inflammatory in order to rile people up, and understand that there's no such thing as a bad press. Like, yeah, sure, they're probably not gonna make like a huge career out of it. They're probably not gonna be able to retire. They're probably gonna have to do something else. They'll probably have to have their redemption tour, right? But in the meantime, they could make some money. They can make some money. It's not sustainable money, but they can make some money. And nowadays, people are so desperate that, you know, some quick cash isn't really that hard to compromise your morals in order to obtain, you know, an easy payday. 2 and block. Okay, good. Making sure I did that right. Take a look at the guy who treated a homeless person poorly and say that they knew the guy, and people think it wasn't a skit. Yeah. Yeah, and then you got people who come and defend them. Like little boys who are just like, oh, leave them alone. They're my idol. They're awesome. It's just learn your limits and try to stay within them. The only thing that can really be done by the doctors is give painkillers, but mine aren't working for me this time. You kind of get you build like a what would you call it? My brain is not working this morning. A resistance to the meds, and you have to like switch it up, right? It's not that long since doctors started accepting that fibro exists, and it's not just all in our heads. Holy cow. Yeah. Well, I remember growing up in like the 2000s and hearing a lot of commercials about fibromyalgia. So I've always thought that it existed, for the record. I was like, why would, yeah, like, doesn't really make any sense, but okay. Doesn't make sense that people would make something like that up, you know? I guess they're hesitant because they're painkillers, so they want to make sure that it's going to the right people. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoops. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoops. Lars, what is ME and CFS? I just don't know the acronyms, if you don't mind sharing. I'm sure you've told me before, but I forget things easily. 1, 2, 3. And then just a black on the end. Okay. But yes, commiserations. Learning your limits is a tough track. It's not as much as a resistance, but if you've got chronic illness, chances are your body will react to meds differently than normal because of that. Because chronic illnesses are wacky like that. Okay. The whole painkillers and opioid epidemic is a whole crock of shit, but I'm too tired to get into it. No, I mean, I've got some misgivings. I've got some questions. I think that there's some people who are caught in the middle of that whole thing. I think there are people who abuse it, but there are also some people who are caught in the middle of that whole thing who genuinely need what they need, and if they can't get it, that's a huge deal, and that's a moral failing of our countries if we can't make sure that that's provided to them to give them some peace and comfort. At the same time, ensuring that the right people have what they need. And treating people who are addicted to stuff with much more grace and forgiveness and help than we would typically do otherwise. Because, you know, addiction is a health, what would you call it? Addiction is a health problem? I don't want to say problem. It's related to all that. Addiction's a real problem, and people need help, not judgment, and, you know. And then sometimes people just need medication to get through their day. So it's really hard to like limit people because what you're going to end up doing is limiting people who truly, truly need access to that medication. And that's a hard road to walk. I don't know the answer. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I wonder if I should add my new trench run to my upgraded trench run that I added movement and lights to. That would be cool. I wonder if you could get the Star Tours bus to move as well. That'd be cool. Myalgic. Oh, so this is why you put it in. Yeah, this is why you put it in an abbreviation for me. I appreciate that. Myalgic encephalomyelitis. I've heard of that. It's like you see the word and your brain just goes bzzz. But then as soon as you work through it, you're like, okay, encephalomyelitis, I've heard of that. Or chronic fatigue syndrome, I've heard of chronic fatigue. There's a whole lot of socio-medical issues perpetuated by a broken system, absolutely. And the system is broken pretty much globally. Yeah, that's something that here in the States, we like to rag on our own, the state of our own medical system, especially as it pertains to drugs, but remembering that there's an entire world out there that struggles with very similar issues that we struggle with. So I'm very critical of the U.S. because I live here, and we should be very critical of the places that we live because that's how you can enact real change. It is probably a global issue. I mean, like what one person struggles with, other people will most likely struggle with as well, regardless of where you are. I have big problems with the U.S. medical system, don't get me wrong. And I know these problems, like intimately I know these problems. I deal with them on a daily basis. Where's my blue? There you are. Oh no, it really sucks, doesn't it? I've been diagnosed 7 or 8 years now, and I'm honestly still learning. Whew. Yeah, and the people who don't have those chronic illnesses like that, just really, it's hard for them to relate. I can imagine what it's like, but I can't truly like know what living every day with something like that must be like, and how much that must wear people down. So again, it's like, I don't want to limit somebody like that to have access to something that helps them get through their day when they're just struggling to begin with, Good days and bad days. I'm very fortunate to not have anything like that. And I'm not saying that to brag, but just that I understand my privilege in that. And why would I stay in the way of other people who don't have that privilege? Why would I stand in their way from obtaining something that would help them make it through their day, I don't know. Good morning, Charles. How the heck are you? Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday before Hell Week, I like to call it. Next week's probably not going to be as bad as I'm building it up to be, but I am still a little scared. I did something wrong, everyone. This is... Oh, no, wait. This is right. No, baby boy. I'm good. You're good. Come on, have some confidence in yourself. There we go. There's a lot of social pressure to function and perform life in a certain standard, and that just goes away with this. Yep, yeah. Ironically, I'm kind of hopeful that research to these and other chronic ailments will be speeding up now that COVID has and keeps increasing our numbers. Yeah. Hopefully that remains to be seen. A lot of people reacted poorly to that. It'd be nice to see more advancement in that for sure. Next month is going to be scary for me. 1 month until go live. Ooh, boy. It's crunch time. Crunch time. Yeah, I really feel like if I can get through next week, I'll be really good. I'm taking over a process for my boss who's out next week. And starting Monday, I gotta really figure it out. And it's I know I'm building it up in my head to be like harder than it really is. I just need to get myself in there and do it. So in a way, I'm not dreading that, because I think at the end of the day, it'll be good for me. I'll be doing the process, and then that will give me the confidence to be like, okay, all right, I got this. I needed that little push. And I know that about myself, you know. You got to put my feet to the fire a little bit. Just a little. Don't make it too uncomfy all the time, but occasionally when the rubber meets the road, that's where I can really stand out. There are parts of the conversion that have not been going well. Oh boy. Oh boy. I'm all too familiar. Unfortunately. When it first started, I had so many tests done, and the doctors had zero clue what was wrong with me. After around a year of testing, I told the doctor about fibro, and he'd never heard of it. Dude literally Googled it in front of me. A few months later, I was diagnosed. What? That's weird. Why did I hear so many commercials? Alex, you don't have to dox yourself. Are you in the States? I was just curious, because growing up, like I said, like in the early 2000s and into the 2000s, I feel like I remember so many commercials about fibromyalgia. You're in England. Okay, so maybe it's a difference of cultures there. Maybe it didn't hit you guys until later. I don't know what could be going on there. But yeah, like growing up, I'm 30 years old, and growing up in late 90s, early 2000s via television commercials, and probably my parents listened to a lot of talk radio. That was basically on most of the day, and a lot of the commercials were about that. I can feel it like dug into my brain somewhere back there. And maybe it was when they were trying to like bring attention to it, because I feel like I remember a lot of people saying, talk to your doctor about fibromyalgia, and then this medication. I don't remember what the medication was now. I guess it plagued a lot of people of an older demographic in the US at first, because I think it was geared more towards the elderly. But I don't know. I know that's not true, because I know people who are younger who have it too, but it seemed like that was a demographic they were going for. Medical ads are ridiculous. They definitely can be ridiculous. Yep. Definitely can be. Two. One. Getting close to the end on this one. 2, 3, 4. There's a lot of other countries that don't allow for advertisements of medication, right? But I mean, the U.S. used to advertise cigarettes as healthy, so, you know, everything with a grain of salt. Oh, but they told us salt was unhealthy, so, you know, look out for that. Get this blood pressure medication here. They are odd. I see in my work, I have seen in the past, not what I'm currently doing, but in the past, I've seen a sharp incline in certain medications because of advertisements. And you also know, there's some good info I could share with you all, but I'm careful about what I say about work and sometimes, just because I don't like crossing over the worlds most of the time. But there's some interesting things out there as someone who analyzes trends in this industry. Yeah, there's some interesting things that happen when medications are advertised, and I don't do any advertising, nor does my company. But yeah, it's pretty wild. Only non-prescription meds, yeah. It does seem to be more older people who are diagnosed. I went to a support group, and it was all women, and I was the youngest by at least 30 years. Yeah. So now that they're aware of it, the age-old question now is like, what caused it, or was it just simply, what are those things? You know, I think there's a lot of stuff like that that just happens to people, and it's so unfortunate. Ooh, that we can't always find like the cause. You know. Just dropped something. It's okay. It can wait. Okay. Forgot to put these pins on first. That would have probably been a good idea. Oh, I just popped that off. Wow. Okay, we gotten one done. You know? Ow. I can definitely tell you this week I'm not going to have time to do it off camera either, so. All right, on to the next one. Go ahead and put the pins in first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It helps to know which direction to hold it so you don't get turned around. There we go. All right. I think we'll probably end up going faster now. There was something I was going to mention. Oh. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I'll make sure that I'm not derailing the conversation any further before I continue, but let me concentrate on a couple lines here. How many is that? 4? 4. What's interesting about this is as you go from left to right, so we're going top to bottom, left to right. And as you go, you'll start on the left with the lightsaber, then you'll get a little bit of Vader. And then by the time we get to this far right, we're more like this flowing cloak, which is a lot of grays and whites. And it actually becomes a lot slower process because I'm having to switch pieces like each time. With the lightsaber, you can do like all yellow all the way down, and it's great. It speeds up the process a lot. But having to switch back and forth like this does make these ones take a little bit longer. I'm going to be very happy, though, that we persevered through this and we accomplished it together. I say we because this is a joint effort, you know? You're all here for my own moral support sometimes. Sometimes I need it. I mean, in all reality, what I'd be doing if I was building something like this is just mindlessly have Netflix on and just zone out, which isn't bad sometimes, but I think it's better for my brain if I keep it active like this. Pretty sure I didn't build all of these on stream. I know I built some of them, but I didn't build all of them on stream. And that's what I did last time, was kind of zoned out on Netflix or something, or YouTube. Okay, so I was gonna say, make sure that I marked where I am. I was gonna mention that I've started doing a little bit of work on an entirely new like bot system, channel redemption sounds, channel games, all that kind of stuff. A whole new system. It is taking me a little bit of time to figure it out. I'm first gonna transfer over the sound redeems. So I'm busy setting all those up right now. To where basically instead of me hosting it out on Triggerfire, which I've had issues with before, I'm just gonna host them myself. And when you use a channel point, it'll just play a file on my computer. I think that's gonna end up being better. And then on top of that, there's also like I want a whole new bot system that I want to put in together. So I'm gonna transfer Bebo over to that at some point. It's just a lot of work. And it's slow going, and especially since I stream almost every day now, having the time to take everything down and then have it ready for the next stream is a little hard. So I'm trying to piecemeal it together. I could foresee maybe there's a chance at some point that I would need to like maybe take a week off of the coffee streams. It's not going to be soon, not this next week, but maybe soon. Just your definition of soon, you know. I think it might be in a couple of weeks. So I need to make sure what I need to do first, and then take the time to take it all offline, redo it, and then bring it all back up. And so, you know, when you stream every morning, it gets a little hard to do that. So once I know when that's going to be, I'll definitely let you all know. I wanted to check how long do you think you'll be going today? What time is it? We've been going not even an hour yet. Probably till about 8. Which I get you. It's almost 7 here. It's 6:49 a.m. right now. So probably another hour, maybe a little bit more. Just depends. My mom will be here to pick me up for the doctor soon, so I'll say goodbye now. Hope you have an awesome stream. Well, I hope you have a great day at the doctor. I hope they can find something that will help you, and I hope you get better soon. Which I understand for chronic illness that's a tough one, but good luck. I'm rooting for you. That one, 7. Of course, of course. So all week it's been threatening rain, literally all week, and it's supposed to continue to threaten rain all next week. But the problem of being a suburban dad is that you need to mow the lawn, you know? And I can't say I want to mow the lawn, but it's starting to get kind of long. I missed last weekend because it's just like I don't want to do it every weekend. It's killer. So I'm just gonna let it go, and I'll do it the next weekend. Well, now it's like getting a little long, and now it's threatening rain. So a lot of what will go down today will depend on whether or not it rains. We do have an event we were gonna go to. That really comes down to the rain. It's an outdoor thing, so if it rains, I think it's gonna get canceled. I think so. I would check my radar, but I'm using my phone. I'm using my phone for the Lego cam right here. Two, three. There's a white, a 2. Five. Two. Five and a 1. All right. Great thing about living in a townhouse, we don't have a lawn to mow. Yeah, true. I also really enjoy my backyard, though. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a trade-off. It's definitely my least favorite thing to do, especially when the weather gets to be like 110 degrees in the summer. At that point, you'll probably see me trying to hit it early Saturday mornings. So some Saturday mornings in the summer, I might have to end this stream early so I can get out before it gets too hot. But, you know, I just, I hydrate as much as I can. And I just try to, I know that I'm going to sweat. So as long as I'm hydrating, taking care of that, making sure I don't get overheated or anything, I just let the sweat go. And there's this nice halfway point where you've been out long enough that you just started pouring down sweat, but you got to the point now where you don't care. You're just like, just let it sweat. Like, let the sweat just drip, you know, who cares? At that point, it's nice because it's like, okay, I'm in it now. It's not going to be much longer before I'm done. And then I'll get to go take a shower, you know, and that'll feel amazing. It's good for us to sweat occasionally. But man, does it get hot here. Whew. It's already starting to get hot. I think it was in the 90s yesterday. So we're already feeling it here in Texas. Last year, it started getting just oppressively hot in June. Oops, I think that's one too many. Yeah. Right around the kid's birthday, started getting just wildly, oppressively, nastily hot. Yeah. Really, really gross stuff. I hate it. I generally hate sweating when I'm in like clothes that I really don't want to sweat in, right? Or like in social situations, I don't like that. But if I'm kind of like in it to mow the lawn, and it's like you just have that acceptance. I'm just going to sweat, and it's gonna be okay. This is my body's way of protecting me. Once you hit that mark, I'm golden. But don't get me in like, you know, nice clothes out in the heat. Oh, then that's when I'm miserable. When it feels like you can't give your body permission to sweat, I hate that. I hate that. Gonna make a basic stir fry with carrots, cabbage, anyone? Sliced ham I found in the freezer. Nice. That sounds delicious. 2, 3, 4. And then there's a 3.
Cabbage.
Oh, jeez. It still scared me. I knew it was coming and it still scared me. Jeez. I assumed it would happen. Cabbage. Cabbage is so good for you. So good. I tell you what, guys, like I don't know. I'm feeling really good lately. With the, I don't know, I just feel like I'm striking a really good balance. I've really had a hard time in my life. Like if I buckle down, I can lose weight, right? I can go on keto for 6 months and just drop the pounds. But the problem is it always comes back, you know? And I don't think that's a slight on keto specifically. I think that's for any high restrictive diet that we do. You'll definitely get the result you want. You'll lose the weight, but then it'll come back. It'll most likely come back. So now, I'm just not worried about the scale. I am not stepping on a scale. I'm just not. I'm not doing it. I refuse to do it. Only time I will allow it is at doctor's appointments. And even then, I'm just going to not, just not pay attention to it. Because I know that what I'm doing right now, where I'm being active, I am prioritizing protein, but not limiting necessarily anything else. Being conscious of how much I'm eating without being overly obsessive about tracking. The one thing that I keep coming back to, and I know maybe I'll kick myself in a couple months when I watch this back, but the one thing that I keep coming back to is how sustainable it is. And it isn't a system, it isn't a plan, it isn't something that I can sell you. It isn't anything that's magic. It isn't quick. But I'm feeling much better. Much better. Much better about myself, feeling stronger. I'm looking a little bit different. It's not all about how we look, but things are starting to kind of like shift around and sort of rearrange a little bit. And that's nice. I'm sure that I'm going to hit some kind of plateau at some point. And I might have to push beyond that. But, I've always enjoyed lifting. Always have. Never really had much of equipment. But now I got a couple sets of dumbbells. And that's like all I need right now. I want to get a barbell soon, though. I did barbell class for a while back in the day. Before the dark times. Before the Panera. And I loved it. It's so good. So good. Then 2. I'll get caught up in just a second. Okay. There we go. Cool. It's Dutch. What's up? You just have to make a conscious decision to change your eating habits. Exactly. And it's a... what if it's a dragon scale? Ooh, I'd step on that. No, I mean, it's not like, Lars, it's not like it's not like a thing that you can, well, I guess you could package it up into a program, but I'm not like on a program per se, I feel like I'm just living my life and staying active. I'm lifting weights and eating better. Like, that's about it. And I understand not everybody can do that, right? But what was important was finding a time that worked for me, a thing, whatever that thing is that you're going to do, a thing that worked for me, and then just kind of putting your head down and trying not to, I hate to say not think about it, but not obsessing about it. I'm just not as obsessive about my weight now. Because I know how I feel, like mentally, I feel so much better. So much better. There's been 2 things, and I know you all saw it, but there's been 2 things that have contributed to like where I am now. And one of them was getting a little bit more established at work and feeling a little less stressed out about that. And the second one was I think it was down to I wasn't being active. I wasn't doing anything, I'm trying to kind of get going very slowly, but it's happening slowly. Like, it's going to be slow. I've only been doing this like consistently for 2 months. On the 27th of April, it was exactly 2 months. Exactly 2 months. And I was like, wow, I can't believe it's only been 2 months. It felt like I had been doing it longer. But I'm just like, imagine 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. Like, I'm looking far ahead. And knowing that like what I'm doing now is giving me more strength, especially as I get a little bit older, building up some of that strength to where, getting up from the ground doesn't hurt as much as it used to. I'm not that old, so like it really shouldn't hurt that much yet. But yeah, come pick up my barbells, weights, and rack. I would 100% take it. Can you ship it? You should. Okay, you should use it, Charles. You and I have seemed to have a very similar like journey in that keto worked really well for us. It does, like, it works great. It does what it's supposed to do. You will lose weight if you stick to it. And maybe carbs are kind of our Achilles heel. Salty stuff, chips, that kind of stuff. You should try to just prioritize getting protein in each meal and don't worry about like anything else. I say I couldn't sell it now. Here I feel like I'm selling it to you. This is just what I do, okay? I don't worry about like anything else. I prioritize my protein. I make sure I work out 5 days a week. I do it just during the weekday, and then on the weekend I do whatever I want, which is usually still fairly active. And I just lift, and I do I lift, bro. I do like progressive overload, which means you start light with it. You do like 10, 15 reps, however many you want to do, and then you move down in reps. So you'll do like 12 reps next time, but you'll do 5 more pounds. So instead of 10 pounds, you'll do 15 pounds, or even 5. I start 5, 10, 15, 20 is mine. But all that doesn't really matter. I'm not an expert. Like, obviously, like, I don't have like bulging muscles, you know? But the system of it, I don't think, at least to me right now, matters. It's just like doing it. And from everything I've been seeing, building muscle will in the long run help you increase your metabolism and burn more fat. That's what I've been seeing, you know. I could be completely wrong though. I've given like dieting advice before, and I've kind of backed away from that because everybody's different, and everybody's needs are a little bit different. You need to find what works for you. So I say all that to say you should lift, Charles, but also, hey, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. And if anybody's worried about becoming like a muscle-bound meathead, you don't really have to worry about that. That's practically unattainable for someone who wants to lead a normal life. I know someone who does like actual bodybuilding, and they're miserable. They're miserable for like most of the time. They are miserable. And so I'm like, well, obviously I'm not. The level of commitment and time and dedication and planning that takes to become a person like that is not gonna happen accidentally. So it's like, I don't have any idea of what my goal is here, what I want to accomplish. I don't look in the mirror and go, I want to look like this person who has tons of muscles or something. I try not to do that. I'm just thinking about like, how is this helping me mentally? How am I feeling physically? And going from there, you know? I've been walking. Walking is great too. Walking's great too. Like, whatever you feel like you can do and stick to. Like, that's been my thing, is just finding something that I feel like I can stick to. And I remember the days when I went into the gym, and I actually really, really loved going to the gym and lifting. Like, I did. There's just something about it. Those are not normally my types of people that I like to hang around. But you'd also be surprised at, like, there's some nice people. They're not all meatheads, you know. And that really helped me challenge my perspective on people who go to the gym, you know. And I understand it, I get it, but finding something that you not only like to do, but you feel like you can do in a sustainable way. And then just putting your head down, you know. I feel like if I obsess too much about it and think too much about it, then I know that that's probably when I'm going to start to fail, because then I'll just quit, you know. If I'm trying to obtain some unattainable goal, and then I look in the mirror every day and go, where is it? Where's that muscle? Where's this? Where's that? then, I mean, that's the other side of an eating disorder too, right? That's like body dysmorphia type stuff, which I think a lot of bodybuilders probably deal with. My ex was a bodybuilder, but there's a limit you can achieve without illicit supplements. Absolutely. Yep. My goal is just to be a muscle dad, you know? Not really. I'm shooting for lean muscle mass, you know? And I'm only building muscle, even if it's not the vanity muscle, in order to achieve better fat burning, really. That's really, at the end of the day, what it is. But yeah, I've given advice over the years. I had a whole podcast that was devoted to like talking about our keto stuff, and I will 100% admit that it does work. I don't think that it's horrible. I think that some people can stick to it for a long time. I know several people who have, and that has become their lifestyle, and they're completely happy and satisfied with it. More power to them. You know, I'm just not as obsessive about it as I used to be. And that's what makes it feel more sustainable. When I'm obsessive about something, I know myself enough now that if I'm obsessive about something, I know it's not going to last. When I got my ADHD obsession goggles on, I know that, like, okay, this is going to be a passing fad for me. And that in its turn kind of self-sabotages myself into being like, yep, there it is. As soon as I get that feeling of I don't really want to do this, then boom, it's gone. It's gone. So I find by not obsessing about it as much, getting into a system that works for me, or I don't know if I'd say system, a way that works for me, and then turning off everything else, you know, turning it off, knowing that what I'm doing is the right thing to do, at least for right now, and for me. That's what makes it feel less of an obsession and more of just, this is what I do. Like, this is part of my routine. And if it's a routine, I feel like even if I miss a day, I can still stick with it on most days, you know. I also incorporated it in with work as well. So the fact that I can do it on my lunch break is another privilege that I know not a lot of people have. But the fact that I can do it on my lunch break now means I've incorporated this in with another habit that I have, which is showing up to work every day. Like, I already do that, you know, and I don't think about it that much. I just go, oh, well, I have to. And so now I've kind of moved my workouts into my work, and I tell my whole team, like, all right, I'm gonna go do my workout today. So everyone knows that I go and work out on my lunch break. So if I miss it, now it becomes like a thing at work too. So, you know, I look at it that same way. It's something that I really need to do every day, or at least the majority of days. And I do like different muscle groups each day. I'm not just like doing curls every day. Like, I have a book and all that, but I've incorporated it in with my routine, and I think that's what makes me feel better about it too. Because I would always be like, I think it's great, like, what I'm doing right now, like, I'm losing some weight, or I'm, you know, feeling better in this regard. And I'd always get that dread in, like, the pit of my stomach, or right here in my chest. Same place where Pedro Pascal says his anxiety lives is where mine lives too. Probably the same for most people. But I get that feeling of, like, I'm not going to be able to do this for the rest of my life. What do you mean? Or even for a year, I'm going to do this for a year. I would just get this weird feeling of dread that, like, well, I'm obviously going to mess up eventually, and I'm not going to stick with it for that long because what I was doing was unrealistic, really. Just about everyone at the gym couldn't care less what you yourself is doing, and only focused on what they're doing. That is That is what I have found as well. Yeah, most of them don't care. And then honestly, I met some people that I probably, had I kept going to the gym, probably would have been friends with. I met some people that were just a couple people would come up because I had that gym notebook that would show me like all the workouts and whatnot. I had several people come up and be like, "Hey, I was just wondering like what's the book that you're using?" And we talk about it for a little while, and they'd be like, "That's so cool." And they're like, "You're doing a great job. Like, keep it up, you know." And then I even had this one huge dude like be like, "Hey man," and I was like, "Oh no, what's this gonna be?" And he's like, "Do you mind if I give you like some pointers?" I was like, "Absolutely not. Like, please do." I have no idea what I'm doing. And he gave me some pointers, and they were really good. And so everybody I've met, obviously, there's a whole another layer of of privilege happening there as well, given who I am, that not other people get to experience. But in my own personal experience, they've been pretty genuinely decent interactions with people. Whether or not they're decent people remains to be seen, but generally decent people. Having a routine is great. That's exactly it. Yep. And so that's why it's hard for me to like, you know, say that I can sell what I'm doing to anybody else or give anybody else advice, because my life is so different that what works for me might not be what works for you, you know? These on. Wait, am I? Oh yeah, I'm out of the lightsaber. So there's no more lightsaber. Now it's just basically Vader cloak. His arm and his cloak all the way down. Interesting. Okay. So this will be the interesting part of the build. Probably a little slower going. Because with the lightsaber, you could just like line them up and go all the way down the line. With this, it's going to be a little bit difficult. There's one thing I would like to incorporate a little bit more somehow, is like at least like once a week do some like flexibility or yoga to try to like loosen things up. I need to find like a I don't know what you call it. I don't know, maybe there's like a YouTube video or something out there that has what I'm thinking. Just something I could do like on, let's say, Sundays. I think Sundays would be an excellent day. To find some time to put aside to just like do some like yoga and meditation. I did yoga for a while and I loved it, but I had a hard time incorporating it into my day, you know? Because it can be a full-on workout too. Holy cow. Full body workout. I can be sweating after something like that. So I want to kind of like put it in somewhere where it makes sense. I think on a Sunday it would make a lot of sense for me. Maybe some Tai Chi. I've always been interested in the stuff that's like a little more, what would you call it? A little more philosophy based in a way. So like yoga, I got into Tai Chi for a little while. Again, you know, the stuff I've done that I haven't really stuck with, but I felt the benefits of it. Like it kind of felt more like meditation, less like exercise, you know? But that's all beneficial too, right? I should probably do that. Maybe I'll look into doing that on Sundays. Hype for the dad strength, yep. I just want to, you know, be able to do stuff without feeling tired and weak, you know? And like, trying to think of the word I want to use here. Yeah, I mean tired and weak. That's really what it was. I think there was a direct impact on my mental health from it too. I can almost see exactly when I started kind of taking a routine into consideration and like trying to make sure that I get this into my daily routine. I could dramatically see a difference in my mental state. 100%, I could see it. 100%. I think it's what led to work being a little less stressful. That and time. Taking care of myself and a little bit of time and grace with myself has helped. Yeah. I think that's been key. There's still stressful things that happen, but you feel more equipped to handle it when you don't feel like trash, right? When you're not always also feeling gross. I'm trying to start a routine or get one going for my physical exercise. I try to do something even if it's a little while with a resistance band. That's perfect. That's perfect. That's what I think really is key. It's just something. And so it's like, it's something I've always loved to do, but lack the equipment. The equipment's a big deal, and that's monetary, you know? So instead, what I did is I started out like small. I only had 5 and 10 pound dumbbells, but that's what I used. I used them and I did a lot of reps. And then now I have 15s and 20s. So I have 5, 10, 15, 20. And then I finally, just a couple weeks ago, found a nice cheap weight bench, just a bench itself, so that I could do things like the presses and whatnot on a bench and not have to be on the floor. And so I'm slowly but surely building up that collection, you know? That's something I've always wanted to. It's pretty great. I do, and I want to like get a lot more equipment. Mostly like free, what do they call it? I wanted to say free range stuff. Free form stuff. You know, I don't think I'm gonna get any machines like, you know, like that, but like a barbell rack would be great. I would take Charles's in a heartbeat. If I lived anywhere near Charles, I would 100% drive there and get that. I'd rent a truck and go get it. I guess I could probably convince Mrs. Nonder to take a trip to your state, Charles. We'll just rent a big old U-Haul and take a road trip. We've always wanted to go. I've never been in my whole life. She's been. I think she'd been one time for her school. Free weights. There you go. Yeah, I want to keep it like free weight style. I don't want to get like a machine that targets one specific muscle, even though those are great. Like, those are great when I had them in the gym. They're so nice because you can just target really specific muscle groups, and that's awesome. But, you know, I'm looking for a more overall experience anyway. So I don't want just the vanity muscles. I want like actual physical strength where even if you don't see it, I just feel better, you know? Also not really interested in the whole like beat myself up kind of mentality of the gym. I'm into more of nurture muscle growth, you know? Come on up. I mean, that's, yeah. Maybe that'll sell her. I'll tell her, okay, so I found a whole weight rack and barbell and all that. The only catch is we have to go drive to get it. And she'll be like, oh, okay, where? Like an hour? And I'll be like, no. A little bit further than that. A little bit further. How far? I don't have my phone, but hang on. I mean, my phone is on. Let me grab another tab real quick. I'm not going to show this on stream so I don't dox myself, but I'm just curious. And I know just the general area, you know, ballpark where you live. So I'll just do directions there. I know your street, Ben. From here. Sure, I'm not showing it on screen. Okay. Ooh, why did chat get cut off like that? Hold on. Sorry. There. I don't know why it was like that. Sorry about that. It would... 19 hours, 30 minutes. It's like a 3-hour flight, 2-hour, 45-minute flight. But like I can't really fly because I have to drive, you know. I guess I could like fly up there, rent a one-way U-Haul, load it up, drive it back, drop it off at home. You were thinking 20 hours? Yeah, with bathroom breaks and obviously overnight stays. I don't think I'm doing 19 hours in one day. She wouldn't let me go alone. Not because she doesn't trust me, but just because she would love to go on a road trip like that. So that would have to be a several days event right there. I tell you what though, man, if we ever score this job at Lego, it happens to be based out of Connecticut. Let's just say, so from Connecticut, 5 hours. 5 hours, 46 minutes. I'm just saying. Ooh, right through New York. Right by NYC. Wow. Yeah. It's a very interesting area of the states that I would be interested in living in, actually. Do I just need to work for Charles? Do I just need to get a job with Charles and call it quits? Weekend with the Cheesertons. Yeah. I do think Charles Cheeserton and myself would make really good friends. I mean, I consider us friends now, but you know, like real life friends. 1, 2, and 3. I think we would. Weekend with the Cheesertons. I'm gonna have to tell Mrs. Donder that. Although then she's really gonna want to do it. She'd be like, let's go. Let's do it. She's itching to get out. For sure. And I am too. I'm not a huge fan of this area. No offense, I guess. As if Texans are afraid of offending people. Excuse me. You wouldn't need a van, I don't think. The wrap could be partially disassembled and everything could fit in a pickup. Oh, okay. I don't have a pickup, but I could rent one of those U-Haul pickups. Be a little better traveling. Wouldn't fit everybody, but pretty much like that. Yeah. Yeah. Another 3 brown. Another 5. $7.26. Ooh, I was just about to say it sounds like rain, but that's on this track. Okay. It doesn't look too bad. I see clouds, but I don't see any looming threat. So maybe we can still go do our stuff today. Okay, 94. And then 1. Mrs. Cheese would see a show, would see you show up at the front door and be like, "Oh, you're that guy from TV." That guy from TV, that's funny. That TV guy. Is Mrs. Cheese not into the Twitch subculture? She's just like, you're just watching people on TV. We're all just actors to her. Not into anything gaming. All right. But hopefully doesn't begrudge you from the same, from partaking is what I meant to say. Come on, get on. Get there. That, 2 of these. I used to say the same thing about Mrs. Nodder, but lately this girl's turning into a straight gamer. I don't know how I managed it, but somehow she went from like never building a Lego set in her life to now having a fairly decent Lego collection. And then also now being like I had to buy her a gaming laptop. It's weird. But in a good way. I don't know how I did it. It just kind of happened. No, she plays very specific types of games. She's not out here playing Destiny with me, but, you know. Yeah, she used to like watching me play games back when we had like a smaller space. Probably because she didn't have choice, so she just made the best out of it. It's like, well, I'm gonna play a game tonight, and she'd be like, yeah, that's cool. And so she'd watch and be like, well, that's cool. Look what happened there. Or she'd get invested in like the Uncharted series, which is kind of like watching a movie anyway, you know. She watched me play the first Last of Us, and there's a section in that game that's very hard, or at least I thought it was hard at the time. We were trying to sneak around, and every time you are unsuccessful, you get violently murdered, just in the worst possible way. And I was not too great at this section, and she had a ball laughing at that, at just how bad I was at it, and how many times she had to see this poor girl get just brutally murdered. It's really bad. It's really bad. Highly recommend Mail Time. I actually think she just bought that the other day. I let her get something for her birthday, and I think it was Mail Time. I let her. It was part of her birthday. When we started dating, she did like playing Sonic, but in hindsight, maybe she played it because I liked it. Yeah. So like, since we have a little bit bigger space now, and I don't have to play games in front of her, she doesn't like. She'll come in occasionally and be like, "Oh, that's cool," but you know, I think some of it was out of necessity, you know. But games like, you know, Stardew Valley, I think is really what started it all for her, and realizing that games are a lot more different than, there are different types of games than she thought, you know. Speaking of Stardew, we'll start doing the VOD backup on Stardew soon. And I have a whole like 2 or 3 episodes where we did Stardew co-op with Mrs. Nonder. It's been a while, so if you haven't seen that, it's on Twitch still. There's a playlist for it. But I'll be uploading that to YouTube sometime too. It was fun. It was when the boy was sleeping a lot, you know. We had the time. My noodles are done and they're so good. Gotta wait for them to crisp up. Ooh, nice like crispy end noodles. I'm a fan. You know what's kind of cool too about what I've been doing as far as, my health is concerned, is like there'd be so many times where I would, especially on keto, I would just be like, I'm just gonna have a cheat meal, and then I'd feel like crap afterwards and feel down on myself and try to the next day make up for it somehow by limiting more of what I eat. And now we had Taco Bell last night. It was Cinco de Mayo. I had Taco Bell last night. And like, yeah, Taco Bell's not the greatest for you, but I don't care. Like anymore, like now I'm just like, I don't like obsess about it. It's almost like once you stop obsessing about it and you just let yourself enjoy something, it it loses its power over you. It's like, yes, I can have Taco Bell, and then I can turn around and still pump iron, and I can still build muscle. I can still prioritize my protein. Like, I didn't go crazy with Taco Bell. I didn't binge. I had a couple of things and boom, I'm done. And I don't feel disgusting this morning. I don't feel like a failure this morning. I don't feel like I've lost any kind of progress from it. So having a way to like have food lose its power over you. Please never say pump iron again. Okay, sorry. That was probably triggering for you, right? What with the eggs? I can still pump some iron, bro. All right, sorry. That's the last time. We celebrated Cinco de Mayo with margaritas and kale and white bean soup. That sounds delicious. I kind of wanted to get a margarita sometime. I don't think I've ever even had one. I don't think I've even tried one. Maybe I've tried one. I don't think I've ever like had one, Just sounds disgusting somehow. Okay, I mean, you're right, it does, but, you're not wrong. But no, that's my point, is like, it doesn't have, I still eat it, right? But I somehow feel like it doesn't have the same power over me as it used to. And even what you're making right now, Lars, like noodles. There would have been a time where I'd have been like, well, I can't have noodles. Those are carbs, That would be bad. And it's like, so I would do it, do it anyway, and then just feel bad about it. And it's like, well, okay, I'll just stop feeling bad about it, because I know that in general, as long as I don't have Taco Bell every day, overall in general, I'm doing better than I was, for a longer period of time, I hope. Again, I'm 2 months in, but yeah, I hope I won't look back at this and be like, oh, you fool, you were just riding the obsession. But it feels different. It feels different to me. I know the other feelings. I know the other feelings of like basically half starving myself for months, and I can lose weight that way for sure. But it will come back. My body will find its natural stasis, But I suppose that's like everything. Again, I'm not digging into keto. I think keto it worked for me. It was great. I think the general idea of limiting yourself on like really trash carbohydrates is probably really beneficial. And that it works really well for some people, but it's not a necessity of life. It's not the way that you are supposed to live your life. Like, it's not like we're optimized for it or anything like that. It's just, turns out if you limit yourself quite a bit, then you end up limiting your calories quite a bit, and you limit the kinds of foods that you eat, like ultra processed stuff and whatnot. It turns out that that's good for you, so whatever gets you there. Yep. Dosage in the poison, or the poison is in the dosage. I've been saying that lately backwards. I don't know why. Said unironically, it's disgusting. Yeah, I hear you. But also for the food thing, fully awesome to hear. For me, it's also been like accepting that overall there are no bad foods. I struggle with that one, I'll be honest with you. I do struggle with that one. And I get where people are coming from, so I'm not saying I disagree with the sentiment. But where I struggle is in thinking that you look at the calorie denseness of food, right? You look at a plate of broccoli, which, yuck. Who's going to eat all that? I eat broccoli, and yuck. But where I struggle is saying 200 calories of broccoli is going to have the same effect on your body as 200 calories of cake. I struggle with that. I struggle to like wrap my brain around how that is possible. I know I do need to get rid of some of those ideas about bad food. So I understand the sentiment behind it, but I'm just being completely honest. I struggle with that concept a little bit. So if you want to like talk more about that, I'd be more than happy to talk about it. I just don't know if I'm at my life where I could say that with confidence, right? Because I don't feel like, yeah, that's where I struggle. Where I'm just like, it can't be that the same calorie amount of broccoli will have the same effect on your body as the same calorie amount of cake, right? So I don't think foods are bad in like certain moderations, right? I mean, you can have a piece of cake, right? No big deal. But if all you eat is cake, then it's less about the food being bad. I agree with that. It's less about the food being bad and more about the food being less optimal for you. Yeah, the glycemic load, which measures how your body reacts to what you eat. It's a generic thing. Okay. I can follow if it's a more like a, I think where it works for me is thinking about what I just said about like Taco Bell, right? That it's not that I look at Taco Bell as good food. I don't look at Taco Bell and be like, this is going to be really good for me. I know it's not overall going to be the best thing for me to eat. However, having that lose its power over me by saying, I know this isn't the best thing to do, but I know that the journey I'm on, the wider goal that I have, is not going to be affected by one time having Taco Bell, and having it lose its power in that regard. I guess in a way I would then say that I don't think Taco Bell is bad in that aspect, right? I have a friend who never eats vegetables. At most it's potatoes and tomato sauce, and they don't have any issues. It's wild what people can like. Yeah, like the human body is amazing at how well it can adapt to whatever like source of sustenance it can find. It's pretty wild. I mean, I went a long time without eating vegetables. I mostly eat it now for the fiber. The fiber was super important for me lately too. So like I just load up on raw veggies a lot. Yeah, we're right here. Yeah, body's metabolism change, but then there's also going to be some people who just, I mean, how many of those news stories have we seen where there's an 80 to 90-year-old woman and she's, everyone's like, what's your secret to your youthfulness? And it's like she smokes a pack a day and drinks Dr. Pepper and no water. And she's fine. Like her blood panels come back fine. Everything is great. That doesn't mean that we should all drop what we're doing and adopt her way of life because it worked for her, you know? Everybody's metabolism is different. And sometimes people just get a bad roll of the dice. And things affect them a lot more. I mean, things like cancer can just seem to affect. You could be exposed to the same chemicals as someone else and be fine, and then someone else gets ravaged by cancer over it. So it's just kind of, there are some aspects of like luck to it, of your metabolism, of your genetics, things like that. So it's hard. Like you don't want to say that because somebody doesn't eat veggies that everybody shouldn't eat veggies. I know that's not what you're saying, but yeah. I'll link a video in Discord that helped me tremendously. I will 100% check that out. So I'm on the fence about it only in the regard that I still don't think that I see all food equally, but I do agree with the sentiment of trying to make it lose its power over you. And I think that's what the movement of no bad foods, I think that's what it's trying to do at its core. So I could see myself in the future agreeing with that sentiment as I learn more, with the understanding and the caveat that, like, it's a tool. It's a tool that you can use to help food lose its power over you. You know what I mean? Not that I've done that, but you know. So, yeah. I'm just being honest. I hope that's okay. I just don't know yet if that's, yeah. So your friend that eats vegetables, or doesn't eat vegetables, mostly potatoes and tomato sauce. Meanwhile, you've spent so much of your life worrying about perfection in nutrition. Yep. Orthorexia. I don't think I've heard that term. The U.S. is in the midst of an obesity and type 2 diabetes epidemic because of the prominence of fast foods, highly processed convenience foods. Absolutely. Yep. And sedentary lifestyles as well. It's all connected. 4, 5. I myself was, I had a blood panel done. This has been probably 2016, 2017, maybe 2015. And I had, I was marked as pre-diabetic and like, hey, you need to get this under control. And I have since then probably been a little obsessed with food and working out and eating. Well, not working out, with food and nutrition and stuff like that. I do need to eat now. So yes, you should definitely eat. Try to eat as healthy as we can during the week. Yep. Stay active during the week. I still try to stay active on the weekend. It's why I like having things like my lawn that I don't like to do, but it does, like, my workouts on Saturdays whenever I do get to mow is like about as much as I would get during the week anyway. So in that reality, I pretty much work out 6 days a week. You know, good morning, Clumsy. How the heck are you? Yeah, so we try to, I feel like if you're good, like, okay, I hate to say good because of our current conversation, but if you're monitoring and you're keeping things at a level during the week and you go a little off on the weekend, I don't think it's going to be a huge deal in the grand scheme of things, you know? Like, yes, there would definitely have been a quote-unquote better choice for me to have last night than Taco Bell. Okay. Like, that's the part that I think we need to get over, is that, well, we can scientifically point to different types of food, I can't get this apart, as being better for us or worse for us. Detaching the morality around that is what you need. So you can look at it scientifically, but I think, and this might be what Lars is going for, I don't want to speak for it, but what I would interpret that is, by saying no bad foods, we're removing the morality around a bad food, not its effect on our bodies, but its effect on our minds, and saying that a food is not bad or good detaches the morality aspect. If that's what Lars is saying, I 100% agree with that. There's anything more moral about what we eat. I mean, unless we're okay, there could be. There could be. There are instances, but we won't go into that because I think I get removed from Twitch. But in general, you know, the food itself, there is ethical ways of obtaining food, and unethical ways of obtaining food. But there we go. In general, if that's what she's saying, I think I can kind of get on board with that idea. I am not less of a person because I decided in my full consciousness, I didn't decide it on a whim. I decided it pretty early in the day. And I still got in my workout for the day. I drank a ton of water that day. I ate chicken and vegetables for lunch. And that's pretty much it. Had some trail mix in the afternoon. Like I was fully like understanding what I was doing, you know? So in that regard, there was no morality in that decision. There are foods I could have chosen that would nourish my body better, but it didn't make me a bad person for choosing to eat Taco Bell, you know? Hey, you're back. Good. So I was just saying, Lars, so if what you're saying is that we're removing the idea, hang on one sec, of foods being morally good and morally bad, then I think I would agree. Because there isn't any morality in that consumption. Now, you can find foods that would nourish you more than other foods. Foods that would be better for you physiologically and scientifically, but it doesn't make you a bad person for consuming something else. Exactly that. Okay. Throw it in the Discord if you don't mind. I still have the bot set to block links. I don't even know if I should anymore, but I'm always nervous to turn that off. Not because of you, but because of just random people coming in and posting links. I'm always nervous about it. Being fat is not a moral failure. I agree with that as well. Yeah. And can I tell you that in my upbringing, it is a moral failure. Even though, okay, weirdest thing in the whole world. The sun is coming in, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take a quick second and close this blind. 1 second. Okay. Yeah, and I know you've probably spoken about that before. It's just my memory. That's how my mind goes. Exactly that. Like junk food is still food at the end of the day, right? Being fat's not a moral failure, among other things. And having fat isn't a moral failure either. Having fat is literally our body's way of keeping us alive. Our body thinks that the excess of food we have is us preparing our bodies for a lack of food in the future. So it stores that up in order to make sure it keeps you alive for as long as it possibly can. Your body is literally trying to keep you alive and help you by storing fat. It doesn't know when your next meal is coming. So it's literally a survival mechanism. If the poop hit the fan, those of us with a little extra body fat would be the ones that would survive a lot longer. I'm just saying. But yes, okay. So if we are saying, no, I need a 2. Sorry. If we are saying that we are removing the moral good and bad of food, I'm right with you there. And I'm speaking generally here, but if someone is fat and they choose to still eat bad foods, that's a decision they've consciously made. Maybe. Hey, Woodsy. How's the Lego art going? I've been lurking. Thank you for the lurk. By the way, holy cow. Bike go burr. You're going fast in that video clip, by the way. You're like, it doesn't look fast, but it's only 30 miles per hour. And I'm like, whoa, that looks pretty fast to me. Maybe I'm just not adventurous like you. That was pretty fast. There's a huge situation, especially in the U.S., of food deserts. Yep. That the type of food that we have here is not as nutritious as the cheaper it gets, the less nutritious it becomes generally, which is why we have so many people who are below the poverty line, but yet still have an excess of body fat. And we've for a long time thought that meant that they were faking and they actually did have access to money. But no, that's not the case. A lot of the stuff that they get given by people is something that's cheap, because that's all we want to do with our unhoused populations is we want to just give them the cheapest things we possibly can. And like it does sustain them, which is good, morally good to sustain them, but not great for health overall. Papa Charles. Sadly, got to continue lurking because work, but I'm here. Okay, good. Well, thank you. I appreciate the lurk. I'm a fast builder. Sometimes when I really get into a groove, I can do it fairly fast, but I get distracted a lot, which is fine. That's why I'm here. I'm here for the distraction. This is what I do this for. My hair is just wild today. I think it's getting too long right here, right where it's like thinning out. So now it just like falls down. I really need to get a haircut. My girl will be watching. She wants to get into Lego building. I'll be on mute though. Well, cool. Well, welcome. We're doing, in case you're interested, we're doing the Ultimate Vader pixel art. So this might look like nothing right now, but when I take all these little cubes and I put them together, they're going to be really, really cool. It's going to be a really cool payoff. Dun, dun. All right, where were we? So I was talking about, a little bit about my upbringing. So here's something that, am I ready to unpack this yet? Have a good weekend too, Woodsy. Maybe show it during stream, and I'd go back in VOD and show her or something. Thanks. Will probably be a couple more streams before we're done with it. Maybe 2. Yeah, because it's getting close to 8 now, and then I have this many left. That might be another stream to finish this, and then a final stream to put it together. I is what I'm thinking. The fact that I just cooked a full meal for myself feels huge, because I haven't been able to do that in a little while. Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah. So, So the weirdest phenomenon happens in Christian circles. I don't think this is unique to our particular sect of Christianity, but for what it's worth, I was raised as an independent fundamental Baptist, IFB. Yes, that is the same, one and the same denomination as the Westboro Baptist Church. While I can say that the churches I attended would never picket a soldier's funeral, ideologically, they were probably pretty aligned with that. A lot of my family, people I grew up with, friends, would all probably still identify that way. If they don't identify that way, there are seeds of those teachings that I see clearly have had repercussions on our lives. And whereas they might have left that denomination, there's still a way of viewing the world that has forever changed and has forever become the way that you view things. So even if you have left some of the more dogmatic stuff, the stain that IFB puts on your mentality is very evident and very prominent later in your life. And I've done a lot to try to purge that of myself, from myself as well. Not always successfully. But one of those things that I would say is regarding food. There was a lot thrown around about how certain things were sins, right? certain things were bad. And I'll leave out the details right now, but I'm sure you can piece together whatever current thing they're obsessed about saying is a sin. And they would hound on that. And, people in our sect of Christianity, not the churches I was in particular, but people within that same denomination would literally be sitting on street corners saying the F slur, and how people should just burn in hell. Over things that they perceived as being sinful. Religious trauma, content warning, I guess, if this is triggering for anybody. It's probably mostly triggering for me. So there was a mentality of all these sins are bad. All these worldly people are horrible. And they would ignore the fact that the Bible also talked about sloth, which is like, just being a generally inactive person. It would ignore the fact that the Bible talks about how your body is a temple, that it's housing the Spirit of God, and that we need to take care of our temples, and we shouldn't be doing things to our bodies that are hurting our temple. And a lot of times they would use that to justify wanting to limit drugs and alcohol from people, right? Again, the things that they didn't themselves struggle with. But there was a fascinating thing that would happen where they would completely ignore the side where the Bible talks about how it doesn't really talk about how being overweight is a sin, but it does talk about like overconsumption. I'd have to look up. Should I look it up? I don't know if I want to look up the Bible right now. It probably says, it talks in general about giving your body, as we talked about the temple of the Lord and stuff like that. There's some verses that talked about how looking at the deeds of the wicked, they are fat, they are sleek. There's one. Here we go. I'm not going to read a bunch of Bible verses, don't worry, but I'm going to get a general sense again. You can't defile the temple of God. Gluttony. Gluttony is a big one. But really, now that I'm kind of looking through, talk about how people would get fat, kind of fat and lazy. That's kind of what they would say. Anyway, yeah. Don't be a gluttonous man. Don't be a wine bibber. But anyway, they would focus in directly on. Oops, how did that get lowered? Sorry, music just cut out for a second there. They would focus in pretty specifically on all those other things, right? And they wouldn't really focus in on gluttony. And a lot of Christians would like to demoralize other people for what they did, but they wouldn't talk too much about the whole gluttony thing. And so it was this weird thing where like they're so judgmental about people outside of their own little bubble that like most of the people I went to church with, guys, and I don't believe that this is a moral failing. I know now that I think that there's more going on in people's lives and that they're using food to cope with things sometimes. But a lot of times, I got to tell you, I went to church with a lot of overweight people, drastically overweight people. And I don't think that those are like less people, but it's fitting that they would never look at that passage that talks about maybe before you look at the little mote that's in your brother's eye, maybe you should look at the beam that's in your own eye. That there are issues that you need to deal with yourself you're coping for something. You're dealing with something, and they'd never want to see it. They'd never want to see it. And again, now, in my past, I would have used that as me telling them that they're being unmoral. Like, I'd be like, you want to talk about all of this stuff over here, about how being gay is a sin and doing this is a sin and all this other stuff is a sin. But yet you don't want to look at the thing that you're doing in your life that's self-destructive. So there was a time in my life where I did look at being overweight as a sin, as being gluttonous, as being lazy. And I don't believe that anymore. I know that there's a ton of factors. And now, generally, I kind of feel bad for them. Like, they're still crazy judgmental, racist people. Not all of them, but a lot of them. I say that for deniability. Then come back and be like, I wasn't talking about you. Probably talking about you. But yeah, it used to irk me so much that they would care so much about what's going on in the world, but not care about what's going on in their own head. Pretty wild. I got stories for days. Now that I'm looking through, this sounds pretty good. And before non-re-indoctrination arc, now that I'm looking at the Bible again, holy cow. There's some good stuff in here. Actually, and then I'm going to turn this Lego stream into just preaching at you all day. I literally come across, for as much as people say that the TikTok algorithm is like, oh, the TikTok algorithm is turning people into liberals and it's like indoctrinating people. It's like, I see so much conservative content on TikTok, mostly TikTok Live, because I think that their algorithm's different. But like, I see so much, so much, and yet I still it hasn't swayed me over. It's really weird seeing it from the outside, and I don't even fully say that I've left, quote unquote, the faith. I could have probably a very long conversation about where I feel spiritually nowadays. But it's not that. It's not whatever that is. It's not that. And so when I come across these lives and somebody's like trying to teach something out of the Bible, I'm just like, God, it's gross, because I know that like this person's probably not read it all the way through. That's the real deep, dark secret. If you want to know, nobody reads the Bible. Nah, they just pretend that they read the Bible, or they do these year-long reading plans, and they'll read the Bible, but they don't like read the Bible, because as soon as you start actually looking into it and starting to dissect it a little bit, it falls apart, guys. My biggest revelation about how pieced together certain things happened in Bible college. It happened at a time in my life where I was the deepest in as I had ever been in my whole life. That's where the cracks showed. And isn't that concerning when the cracks start showing when you're really giving it your all, when you're like giving it your life, is when the cracks start to show? It should be a little concerning to people who are still in it. If you keep it at a casual arm's length, and you kind of, you're like, no, we go to church every Sunday, we go to church every Wednesday, we're deeply involved in the church, but yet you still kind of keep it at an arm's length. That's how you stick with it. That's how you stick with it for a long time. Because if you do truly take it serious, and you're being honest with yourself, it starts to be a little weird. A little weird. I don't have it all figured out, but it's a little weird. I know we got on that by talking about weight, so I'll try to bring it back to that in a moment. I don't know where I just went there for a second. I went somewhere. And you were with me. It was like a little flashback. I don't know. I just dropped a piece. I'm trying to just finish this row before I catch up on chat here. Okay, there we go. Here we go. All right. So those who doth protest the most are frequently guilty themselves of what they protest against. How many times have I seen ranting and raving and railing against people that they perceive as being sinful, and then they themselves are either in that sin or something horribly worse than that. It's a projection and a coping mechanism to make other people look worse than yourself, because then you don't have to face your real demons. Deflection. Yep. Hey guys, this really makes sense now that I think about it. You just see me, you see an aura come down from heaven and the angels behind me. Maybe that was that guy. So Darth Torlin, when I first started, said there was a really sexy guy on camera. Maybe it was an angel standing behind me, shirtless, and just shining down light on me, and I become enlightened live on Twitch. I could sell the crap out of that grift. I'm telling you right now, I could sell it. I think I just did this whole section wrong. No, I didn't, baby boy. Come on. You didn't do nothing wrong. Come on. Come on, baby boy. You're fine. I'm fine. Okay. The MAGA right complain about indoctrination all the time, yet they sell a book for kids about loving Trump. Yes, it's crazy. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of things you say right now could be what a religious preacher says, or like a missionary, a whole other can of worms. You went to Bible camp. I went to Bible college. I went to Bible camp, and that's what made me want to go to Bible college, because I could finally get away from my parents. Yeah. A lot of the things you say, what are some of the things that I said that would be like what a missionary religious, the whole aspect of like talking about sin and like what they consider to be a sin and not looking at themselves. That was taught, but like they didn't take it seriously. You know what I mean? It was like they say they read it, but they don't really read it. Yeah. That's, I mean, and then they would say that, and everyone in the congregation would nod and be like, "Yeah, those other Christians don't read the Bible, but I'm on my daily Bible reading plan, and so I read the Bible." And it's like, that's not what I mean. What I mean is, have you read it? Objectively, have you read it? Have you looked at like who wrote it and how it was put together and how it was translated and retranslated and retranslated and retranslated and retranslated? And then some of the books were just, let's shuffle that aside. We don't want that one. That one's too crazy. We're just gonna decide that that's not part of the Bible. It was before, but now it's not. Don't worry about it too much. Don't think about it. Don't think about it too much. Don't. That's why they're so mad at TikTok, because there's so many people on TikTok who are showing people that. Like, look at how this was put together. Like, well-meaning, well-intentioned people who just have learned it for themselves, and they're like, you want to hear something crazy? You know? And they wonder, my whole gosh, what would you say? Just criticism of the whole thing started way earlier than like 2019, 2020. I literally have been questioning everything since Bible college, to varying degrees of participation. I have felt that something was off pretty much ever since Bible college. Maybe a little bit before, but by going to Bible college, I thought I would find the answers, right? I thought I would finally find the reason and the thing that everyone else was missing. I thought I would find it. I thought I would find it by digging deeper. And in a way, I did. If you really want to get deep and philosophical about it, in a way, doing that was probably the best thing I probably could have ever done. Like I said, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I haven't thrown the whole thing out. But I know that whatever it is not what is currently the norm, especially in America, especially in like what you quote unquote Western organized religion. It ain't that for me. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I'm fairly agnostic at this point in my life. I have no idea. No idea. And I might not ever know that. I might not ever have an idea. I might not ever know. I don't know. Also, the intersection of religion and the diet industry, water ladies on TikTok, and essential oil people and religion. Even though in the past they would have been like, that's witchcraft. It's not, but you know, it's just, yeah, I know we got here from talking about the morality of food. And my major overarching point is that I'm trying to think now. It's like the idea is in my head, but it's not reached my mouth yet. Just the water ladies are relatively new. Water ladies. All right, I'm going to need examples of water ladies on TikTok. I want to wreck my algorithm some more. Let's go. It's time of the day, y'all. It's sugar-free. Okay, it's time for the water of the day, y'all. It's sugar-free, except it's still sugar, basically. Do they just drink sugar water? I'm confused. Here's my sugar water. Or do they just drink sugar water? Like, they starve themselves otherwise? I'm trying to think of my overarching point here. Is that, like, I did truly believe at one point that it was a moral issue. And I don't believe that anymore. Just like there's a lot of stuff I used to believe that I don't believe anymore. That I hold a lot looser than I think people in my life are ready to hear. They use the flavor powders for making flavored water. Okay. Kool-Aid is still Kool-Aid. So they're just drinking Kool-Aid? And somehow that brings them closer to God? Is that what we're saying? Are we talking this is a Christian thing? Or is this just a general, like, weird culty thing? Oh, is it like the, it's not like Liquid IV people, right? Based out of Utah. Well, that tells you everything you need to know. Can you throw it in Discord real quick? They drink like water, but with flavored powder sachets. Okay. I mean, that's the part that is like, and pumps of syrup. Okay. But it's like a religious thing too? And they think it like brings them closer to God or something, or they collect Stanley Cups. Or are you saying it's, oh, okay. I see what you're talking about. Okay. If you can get liquid in, as opposed to like not drinking liquid, these TikTokers are making water taste like gummy bears. Okay. Behind the TikTok miracle of making water taste like mermaids and gummy bears. Okay. Mermaid is Tanya Spanglow's favorite flavor.
Hey, Daddy.
Hi, bud. Ooh, what you got? You got pineapple?
What?
Speaking of. Ooh, what is it? Is this for me?
Yeah.
Did you try it already?
Yeah, I do.
You did? Is it good?
Yeah.
You like it? Okay. That's good. Did you want more?
Daddy.
Is this just for me?
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, that's cool.
Here you go.
That thing lights up.
What thing? What lights
The
up? The what?
Careful.
Yeah, that. Careful, it's hot. It's got wax in it. I love you. I love you. Okay. They're drinking what's essentially juice from powdered concentrates. Okay. It's not directly associated to God, but it's heavily implied. Okay. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like occult light. No, not occult. Like cult like. I hate plain water. I've never been a water drinker. So like I would say Mrs. Nonder falls underneath that too, where she can't just drink plain water. She has to put some flavor. And it's better to have some flavor and be able to drink fluid than to not drink at all, you know. A water of the day. Jolly Rancher cotton candy water. Okay, so they're just like mixing. I don't see anything wrong with it other than if you start acting like it's the fountain of youth, right? That you found the key. But yeah, I think calling it water is a little weird. I think at that point you could call it the juice of the day or the drink of the day. It's definitely still a drink. It's still a drink. It's fancy Kool-Aid, right? So I don't see anything wrong with it unless it becomes like a weird MLM thing. Do they have a point? Someone told me I was going to be put on dialysis. I have even had some people make comments about my appearance, like, oh, her jawline is gone. Okay. She acknowledges why water talk videos might be so triggering. The long-term research on artificial sweeteners and their effects on health is still murky. I agree with that. It's murky at best. It's downright wrong at worst to say that they have negative impact. I don't think we have enough data to confidently say that. They act like it's super healthy, and some of them only drink that without. So that's the part. If they only drink that without eating, and they're trying to lose weight that way, I mean, they talk about things about water goal, which I've had in myself. I try to drink like 2 of these a day, if not more. This is literally just water, though. I'm lucky in the fact that I can drink
Egg.
I can drink just plain water and be cool. And thank you for the dozen eggs. There's my protein for today. Let's go. Now we can go pump some iron, Lars. We can get those gains. Let's go. Anything can be turned into like a weird thing. I personally like the smell of a lot of essential oils, but I also don't purchase them for most people because they're in a little cult. And they're going to sit here and tell you that essential oils cure cancer. So everything and anything can be like like sold to you in a way that becomes toxic and becomes very MLM-y and very, very new agey and kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Things being new age aren't necessarily mean that it's bad, but cult of personality, you know? I hate it here. Lady has obviously lost a lot of weight, but it's like just drinking water. So I think getting water into your system is super important. I think none of us get enough. And if it takes putting some flavorings in for you to put liquid in your body, I think that's probably fine. I think we should watch the science carefully and make sure. I think it probably is, you know, we're going back to not putting morality on things. It probably is better for you to not have anything artificial in it. But if that's what it takes for you to get it, then there's I don't have any moral qualms with that, you know. Where I do have a moral qualm is if you start telling people you should just drink this as a detox and then not eat for 3 days, and you know, and then that'll help you lose weight. It's like, yeah, of course. That's where it starts. Then we're gonna have a moral issue, right? But just like most things, they get so like out of control after a while. And they start to make a start to take on a mind of its own. Once you have a talk for a version, for a thing, a talk, so you got water talk, now it's going to take on a life of its own, right? And even if she personally wasn't doing anything like, you know, toxic or horrible with it, other people probably will. They'll be like, yeah, so I saw this great recipe for this drink on Water Talk, and that's all I've had today. Like, okay. But, you know, everybody's got to take their health into their own hands and make their decisions, and hopefully look at a lot of stuff with just a little ounce of skepticism, eyebrow raise, you know? The trend feels like when it's over, everything in the thrift store will be Stanleys and such, yeah. I like a good Stanley. We just bought one the other day for Mrs. Nonder. But again, that can turn into a cult too. That can turn into a weird little thing where you know, being obsessed with something or being, or liking something isn't also morally bad. But again, once it crosses that line into like, I do this and you need to do this too, and it's the only way to live and you're going to die if you don't. Also buy my merch. You know, that's where it's like, Where's my cap? There's my cap. It's almost like they're like, okay, cool, so you're drinking water. Great. But then they're putting so much emphasis on that fact. That it's becoming it's becoming a thing that people think if they just drink that, then their life will be good. And it's like not necessarily, you know. I finished that one. I didn't realize I was not on the Lego screen. Zeke came in to give me some ice cream that Mrs. Nonder has been working on. I got her a Ninja Creamy for her birthday, and we are using it to make protein ice creams. Low-ish sugar, not like low carb, but fairly low sugar. Definitely lower than if you got a pint of Ben and Jerry's. And so she'd been making protein ice cream. She just made one that had pineapple in it. It's so good. And that we're seeing a lot of that stuff on TikTok, right? But as soon as it crosses a line into like eat only ice cream and this is the way to drop weight, it's like, you know. How much protein is in 3 pounds of bacon? Actually, probably not a lot because it's mostly fat, right? And it's delicious. You'll have to try my bacon diet. I lost 300 pounds over the last week. The last week. Wow. Okay. If you got results like that, though, I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but I'm going to watch with great interest. The trend, which began among patients of weight loss surgery who are advised to consume water before and after their operations, has picked up steam on TikTok, causing some health experts to praise increased water consumption, while others warn that replacing meals with water could lead to disordered eating. That's a good sentence. I like that. Yeah, because that would be my concern too. And as someone who has done intermittent fasting, I also think that that's a tool that could be easily turned into disordered eating. And you need to be careful. How much would I pay you for it? Yeah, that's the kicker. How much is this going to cost me? Some water talk videos are also hashtagged as weight loss videos, though the trend is not overtly related to weight loss outside of the bariatric surgery requirements. However, Chief Strategy Officer for the Eating Disorder Treatment Organization of the Emily Program and Veritas Collaborative, that's not Project Veritas, right? Hopefully not. Jillian Lampert told Rolling Stone flavored water is a recipe for a potential eating disorder. Lampert labeled people drinking water in place of food as long-term old-school eating disorder behavior. Yeah, if you're drinking something in replacement of just having a meal, yeah, especially if it's just flavored water with no calories or anything. If you're having like shakes and stuff as meal replacements, you might be a little bit better off, but even that could probably get a little, I don't know, a little hairy. Veritas Collaborative is an eating disorder treatment center, apparently. Okay, good. Don't look at anything with Project Veritas. That's hopefully a different thing. Look into that sometime if you want to get really mad. But anyway, yeah, so like, you know, she's making these protein ice creams, and I could easily see that becoming, ice cream talk, creamy talk, and that leading to, you know, all sorts of stuff. So we're using it as a tool in our arsenal, and so far it's been really good. Really low sugar ice cream with like a lot of protein and no artificial sweeteners, like actually just regular, you know, a lot of fruit, putting fruit in it. Cream talk, no. So in Spooky Deer's chat on Thursday, he asked me how Mrs. Nonder's birthday went, and I said in the same message, I was like, it went great. I got her a Ninja Creamy. In parentheses, then I said, get your minds out of the gutter. It's an ice cream maker. And Spooky just died laughing because he's like, how did you know that I was going to turn that into a joke? I was like, I just know people. I know people because I am people. I can tell you all the details for just $99, non-refundable. Don't you love the things that get sold to you too as a quick fix? And then once you're in and you've paid the money or gotten the program, and then it's like, okay, well, so the secret is work out, eat less, move more, drink water. There's your secret right there. Like, I love when they're like, I have the secret formula. You're going to have to get coaching from me. And then they give you that advice. And it's like, yeah, like, I know. We made ice cream with frozen strawberries, cottage cheese, and agave syrup. Ooh, yes, we're going to get some agave this week, actually. The cottage cheese ice cream has been all over TikTok, too. Yeah. Pinch of salt to your ice cream stuff. Yes, like we got some nice sea salt. We could do that. Yeah, so far she has not missed on any. The other day she made like a smoothie bowl for breakfast, and that had like a ton of protein in it from Fairlife milk. Which is like 20-ish grams of protein, somewhere around there. And strawberries, bananas. Yeah. Helps with freezing and flavors because salt and sugar are basic. I'll see if Mrs. Nonder's putting salt in it, but if not, she should. But yeah, absolutely, like, awesome. Like, really good stuff. And I ate some of it the other day, and I was like, I almost had that, you know, that moral feeling of like, ooh, I shouldn't eat ice cream. And then I remembered what we put in it, and I'm like, this is like really good for you. Like, this is good. But something about all those years of all that, like, ice cream is bad, ice cream is bad, ice cream is bad, you know. And it's like, it is probably bad for you. There's probably better things that you could eat, but the way that we're making it now is like it is really good for you. It's got like a lot of the major food groups in it, you know, and getting in a lot of the sweetener is either from fruit directly, or we're gonna try a little bit of agave, and not try to add actual sugar to it wherever we can. Okay, everybody, I think that's gonna do it for me. We have some plans today, and if the rain holds off, we're gonna be able to execute on those plans. So that'll be nice. Be some outdoor stuff today. Reese's Peanut Butter Cup food group. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess peanut butter got protein in it, right? So remove the morality from your eating, okay? And just look at it objectively. That's what I think we've learned today, right? These will be fun to look back on in like 6 months to see what I'm doing next. That's the kind of ice cream you like. Yeah, like the Stephen Colbert's Americone Dream, or I mean, those are good. But they're really rich. I can't eat very much of it. I can't eat very much of it at all. Oops, sorry. Okay, everybody. That's going to do it for this morning. I think probably how much we got? We only got like 3 done. But I am going a little bit shorter today than I would normally. So there might be one more stream of putting, that's a lot. Maybe we're going to say 2. We're going to say 2 more streams of putting the studs on, and potentially one more of actually putting the thing together. That's going to be wild. I will try my best to see if I can do a little bit during the week, but this week is going to be pretty insane, so I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think. I'm going to stretch. I'm sorry. I'm not flexing on you. There isn't really much to flex right now. Candy and ice cream is a win. Yeah. The first night she took just a little bit of what was it? Kit Kat bar and just cut it up and put a couple in there. And that was kind of nice, just a little crunch. I told her I would prefer just like regular nuts in it. I prefer regular nuts. Like maybe some walnuts, pecans, stuff like that. And then, I mean, I try to eat nuts most of the time too, so that fits right in there too. It just seems like a really good, convenient way to get like all those macros in one place. So can't eat much of it either. Anything more than a pint. I can't finish a pint of like full-on ice cream like Ben and Jerry's. I can't finish a pint. It's too rich for me. I usually have to save it and then finish it the next day. These nuts, yep. That's where I was going. All right. Well, that's a good place to leave it. Let's see who is live today. Who can we raid? Let me go back to Twitch here. Ben and Jerry suck anyway because of their stance on the Ukrainian war. Do they have a bad stance on the Ukrainian war? Are they pro-Russia? Are they pro-Russia? Really? Hadn't they done, like, really decent stuff before? Like, I thought they had pretty decent, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was that happened. Really? Oh, they're, like, both sides? That's weird. All right. You know, I don't have anybody live, so unless there's somebody you all really want to raid, I could just go ahead and end it here. That the U.S. shouldn't aid Ukrainian military. Look, I'm a hopeful pacifist. I would rather there be no war at all. Nor would I probably enlist to fight in a war, because war is disgusting. And war is generally, I think everyone would agree, bad. However, I'm also a realist, and I understand that there are bad people in this world. And when there's a clear aggressor, hot take, Russia's a clear aggressor, it gets kind of hard to both sides something like that. It's like, well, nobody's perfect. Okay, yeah, but nobody deserves to have their country invaded. Sorry. Like, that's not a hot take. That shouldn't be a hot take. And even if we don't know the full story, it's like there's enough to know pretty clearly and definitively who's the bad guy here. Anything else feels a little bit like propaganda to me. You know? And again, I hate war. I hate the military-industrial complex. I don't like how much money gets put into our military. And at the same time, I can be like, well, yeah, I think we should have a military, obviously, for people like and reasons like this. But, you know, I couldn't both sides that. I just couldn't bring myself to do that, seeing what I've seen. I just couldn't do it. Okay, I think I'm just going to go ahead and end it there. That way I can just jump right off and get my day started and hopefully have a fun, productive day. I hope you all have a wonderful, fun, productive, whatever productive means to you. There's no morality in that either, by the way. You are not your product. You are not your productivity. Do what you need to do. Of course. Thank you for the conversation, Lars. I always appreciate it. And you too, Charles Cheeserton. And everybody else. Pirate Eggs, thank you for the dozen eggs. That is always helpful, as always. And also, hey, we got a follow off stream yesterday, or 2 days ago, by Drock_RS. And then Drock_RS off stream, not even when I was live. I'm hoping not when I was live, because I didn't catch it. subscribed. This legend subscribed when I wasn't even online. Can you believe that? Oh, Iris, thank you for lurking here. I appreciate that. Are you possibly going live anytime soon, Iris? Are you having a day off? Because I would 100% wait around and lurk and raid you if that's the case. But yeah, what a legend. Like, I wouldn't even do that. Like, I'm just being honest with you. I would subscribe. I would wait to subscribe until someone's live, so I get the little pop-up notification and I get the personal thank you. You know, just that real codependent thing. What is it when you create a relationship with a streamer? Is it codependent? It's not codependent. What's it called? Anyway, you know what I mean. But holy cow, I don't know anything about Drop, but thank you so much. You're probably not even watching this, but you are a legend, and I appreciate you. I'm gonna finish up my coffee. I will see you all on Monday. I have not decided what I'm playing on Monday yet, but I will decide by Monday. That I have to. So I'm either gonna be looking into Lego Worlds, or potentially, I want to see if I can get Lego Island running. That would be nice. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful, 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 wonderful day, and I'll talk to you on Monday, okay? Hit me up in Discord if you have any ideas for things you want to see on Monday. If not, I'll just pick one, and we'll just go with it, okay? All right, bye.